As we're all spending most of our time at home, the Museum of Norwich at the Bridewell has come up with a creative way to challenge your family, or friends you live with, in a homegrown escape room game. Keep watching to find out how you can escape boredom with just pencils, paper, sticky tape, a few things you'll probably have around the house, and some imagination.
Hello, I'm Herbert Lozenge, Professor of History and founder of the Norfolk Excavation Research Department. I really must think up an acronym for that one of these days. You may remember me from such 5-star rated escape games as Archived Alive,
No!
and Secrets of the Tunnels.
Bit of a squeeze, but I'm hoping if I get through, I'll be able to...
As you can see, I take a very active, hands-on approach to history, and as a result I've had quite a bit of experience of isolation.
Help.
So, to save my sanity, and possibly yours as well, my clever friends at the Museum of Norwich at the Bridewell suggested I could give you some ideas on how you could turn your own home into an escape game. I know we all want to escape our homes at the moment. I live with my twin brother Hector, and I can assure you no one wants to escape more than I do. But we can't, so we've just got to make the best of it. Thankfully, my other clever friends at History Mystery have lots of experience of making escape games in museums. They're all on furlough at the moment, but they've given me permission to nick some of their best ideas. After all, a home's a bit like a museum. It's got a collection of stuff that tells a story about your family. Now, in our case, that's a fairly bizarre story, and one we don't really have time to go into now.
Lunch is ready. That's beans again.
I think I'll save that for later. Anyway, on to making your escape game. Before we go any further, some health and safety rules. The first rule of escape gaming is...
We don't talk about escape gaming.
No. The first rule of escape gaming is no one gets locked in anything, ever. You do not, for example, lock your brother in the garden shed and then feed the key to the dog.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Well, different people have different ideas of fun, so it's a good idea to mix up your game with a variety of puzzles, and there'll be lots of ideas for those in this series. But if no one's going to be locked in, you'll need a different overall objective for your game. This could be, for example,
Rescuing a hopeless historian who's got himself locked in his own secure archive. Again.
Thank you. Well, yes, that's one example. Or perhaps... a favourite toy has been kidnapped by an international crime boss, and it's your task to rescue Mr. Squiggles. So, what will you need to put your escape game together? These are the basic items that you'll need. Blank paper, pens and a pencil, a ruler, scissors, and sticky tape or glue. Various boxes. They could be cardboard or plastic, it doesn't matter, and you can use envelopes in place of the boxes for some of the puzzles. You'll need a book. Ideally one with at least 100 pages, and something like a DVD or an LP with a case or a sleeve that you can hide something inside. There are also a couple of items you can use to make some specific puzzles. A standard tin can, full or empty, it doesn't matter, a dice, and a large rubber band. Don't worry if you haven't got those, you can always skip those puzzles. There's also a PDF information pack with some puzzle elements you can print and cut out, though you can easily draw them yourself if you don't have a printer. Now, most escape games involve finding combinations to undo locks and open doors, chests and boxes. Your game will work best if it's clear to the players what things they need to open, otherwise they could be wandering around the house for days. So that's where the boxes come in. They'll be opened one at a time as each puzzle is solved. And one to be the villain's lair where poor Mr. Squiggles is being held captive. It's all right, I'll rescue you. You could also put a reward in the box for the players when they've won. Some sweets, perhaps. Just make sure they're not your toy's favourite kind, or they may be gone by the time they're rescued. Now, in many escape games you'd get into the boxes by finding combinations that would undo padlocks like this. Unless you happen to run an escape game company, you probably don't have a bunch of these lying around at home, so you'll need something else. And that something else is a codex. What, I hear you cry? We haven't got one of those. Aha, I retort. Oh yes, you almost certainly have. A codex is just a book. And here's how my escape game codex works. It turns a 4-digit combination into a word. Many of your puzzles in the game will end up giving your players a combination of numbers. The first 2 digits will be the page number in your book. The 3rd digit is the number of a paragraph on the page you've just found. I suggest you choose a book with good clear paragraphs like this one. In most books, each paragraph starts with a line that's indented from the edge, like this, or after a gap. The final digit is the number of a word in that paragraph. So, for example, if the combination was 4856, you'd first go to page 48, then find the 5th paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then count to the 6th word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Episode. Next, you label the box you want the combination to open with that word. You can use sticky notes, or just write the word on the box if it's an old one you don't want to keep after the game. Now, as the boxes aren't physically locked, obviously there's nothing to stop anyone opening them at any time. But it's one of the rules of this game that the players can only open a box if they've solved a puzzle that has given them the right word. I mean, there's nothing to stop anyone opening the envelope in Cluedo and finding out who killed Dr. Black at any point, is there? Nope. So you'll need to set the scene for your players at the start of the game. You might explain that the boxes have magic voice-activated locks that can only be opened when someone reads out the word that was used to lock them from the solution to a puzzle. That brings me on to your role in the game. You will be the games master, and you'll be in the room with the players to make sure they follow the rules and to give them clues if they get stuck. We'll talk more about that another time. So, that's the codex, which is a big part of the game. What about puzzles to generate those 4-digit combinations? Here's one to get you started. You'll need a rubber band, a ruler, and a pen. First, find a book or a packet that the rubber band will fit over when it's stretched quite a way but still has plenty of give in it. The book is just to make this part easier, and it isn't part of the puzzle. Next, lie the ruler along the rubber band. Don't stretch the rubber band over the ruler, by the way, or it could bend and snap. Make up a 4-digit combination and check that it works in the book you've chosen for your codex. So if you've just put your rubber band over your codex, you'll need to take it off again. You'll want 4 different digits with no repeats, and to keep things simple, we'll avoid 0. Now, mark on the rubber band where 0 and 10 centimetres are. Then use the letters A to D to mark the positions of the 4 digits in your combination. Mine's 8726, so A goes next to 8, B goes with 7, C goes with 2, and D next to 6. Once you've done that, take the band off the book and you're done. The band won't mean anything on its own, but you can put it in one of the boxes to be found as the game goes on. The ruler could be found with it, or in a different box. We'll talk about how to make sure the game all flows together and works in the final film. When the players have found the rubber band and the ruler, they need to stretch it so that the 0 and 10 line up with the numbers on the ruler, and then they can read off the combination from A, B, C and D. 8, 7, 2, 6. Hector should be testing one I made earlier. How are you getting on? Ow! That seems to be working nicely. Join me next time to explore some more puzzle ideas.
You have to say like and subscribe.
Oh, yes, do the thummy uppy thing and sign up for more Lockdown Living Room Escape Challenge tips. See you next time.
Good luck with making the puzzles. Don't forget to download the information pack, and most important of all, please share on social media.